This is the all-new Infinix Zero 5G, the first 5G device from Infinix powered by the 6nm Mediatek Dimensity 900 chipset, sporting a solid uni-curve design which sets it apart from most smartphones, 120Hz high refresh rate display, a triple camera setup capable of up to 30x zoom, and other interesting features we'll explore. What is to be expected of such a device priced at 169,000 Naira? What up guys, my name is Izzy and welcome to the channel. Now let's get started. So yeah, this is the just released Infinix Zero 5G, the first release from Infinix for the year 2022 and quite a powerful one at that. You know, at some point we complained about Infinix using too much of the Mediatek Helio G and P series chipsets, but Infinix decides to level up and use the Dimensity 900 chipset this time, which is a very impressive chipset I must say, and coming on a device at this price point is very much welcome. We saw the Zero X and X Pro last year, and while I won't call the Zero 5G a direct upgrade to those for reasons we'll explore later, it is certainly a better performing device in a couple of areas, and it comes cheaper too. Yes, it supports the same processor as the recently released Technoprova 5G, which I recently reviewed on the channel, and they are a bit similar in specifications to some extent, but they are definitely not the same devices. The Zero 5G does come in an unnecessarily long packaging, just like Zero X we saw last year, and like those, it contains no extra accessory aside the regular ones, which thankfully includes the 33W charger, earphones, and a transparent protective casing which is textured on one part with a 5G inscription. You'll also find a warranty card different from what we're used to, and this time it's a 2-year warranty for the Zero 5G. It also has a screen protector pre-installed right from the box. If you wish to see a proper unboxing, I published a short video earlier, you can check it out later. Or if I have not published it, I'm going to publish it immediately after this video. So, the Infinix Zero 5G is the first 5G device from Infinix, and while that's worthy of celebration, we still don't have 5G in Nigeria. But hey, we're not far from a 5G launch, and that is likely to happen this year, probably with MTN. Also, with this supporting 5G makes it sort of future-proof, so even if 5G comes next year or 2 years time, and you have the Zero 5G, you don't need to buy another device. With that said, the Zero 5G is a lovely looking device as far as design goes. The rear camera bump does remind me of the Oppo Find X3. It is uniquely shaped with curves in the right places. Not the typical camera bump on most smartphones. You have each individual camera protruding a little from the camera bump. Not sure all the colors this comes in, but this is the Cosmic Black. It looks great, but it won't be my preferred choice as there's another color which looks like a shade of orange and looks pretty cool. I'm also not sure if that has the same glossy finish we have on the black one, but if I had to choose, I'll definitely go with that one. But hey, color does not affect performance, so I guess that's trivial. The Infinix Zero 5G does look a really solid device and feels really nice to hold. A glossy red finish means you have to deal with smudges all the time unless you slap the case on it. The red finish is plastic and you have no worries of getting cracks when you drop it. The display is made of glass, not sure what level of glass as Infinix doesn't say. Probably not Gorilla Glass, but it does feel tough. You can find the ports and buttons in the regular placement with the power button doubling as the fingerprint scanner, which from my use I'd say is pretty responsive and accurate 99% of the time. It works without noticeable delay. The power button sits flush on the frame but has a rough texture so you can easily identify it when your thumb rests on it. The Infinix Zero 5G still comes with a much appreciated headphone jack, a USB-C port which supports OTG and 33W fast charging. Next to it is a speaker grill which is the only speaker outlet. Sorry guys, Infinix says no stereo speakers here. It is decent and gets loud enough, but we all want stereo speakers. Definitely should not be lacking at this price point. So Infinix, if you are listening, please do the needful for future devices. You get dual microphones on the Infinix Zero 5G, one at the top and the other at the bottom. It supports dual nano SIM cards and has an extra slot to expand its storage up to 1TB. You can find the SIM slot at the left frame. Speaking of storage, the Infinix Zero 5G comes with 128GB of internal storage and 8GB of RAM, which gets further extended by 3GB courtesy of virtual RAM or MemFusion as Infinix calls it. That uses part of the internal storage to act as the RAM and help with memory management and also improved multitasking experience. You get dual rear flashlights on the camera bump of the Infinix Zero 5G, and there is a front-facing one just above the display. So far, the Zero 5G has proven to be a pretty capable device. I've actually been using it for a little over a week. It is able to handle anything you throw at it, much thanks to that really fast Dimensity 900 processor. Benchmark scores are on the high side for a device at this price point, much higher than the Redmi Note 10 Pro or Samsung's Galaxy A52. Now, while benchmark scores don't automatically mean performance, this should be a bragging right. On the software side of things, the Infinix Zero 5G comes with Android 11 and Infinix XOS 10. It would have been great to see Android 12 on this, but that didn't happen, and let's hope we can get Android 12 updates for this one. Now, XOS 10 is the new revamped version of Infinix XOS. We saw it late last year with the Zero X, with improved visuals and functionality. Still bloated as usual with a couple of ads here and there, which can be easily disabled if you know your way around. Infinix voice assistant Folax is here on the Zero 5G to help with some basic commands. Not much of a competition for Google Assistant, but it is pretty useful. You have a couple of other interesting features on XOS 10, including call recording, game mode, smart panel, peak proof, and a couple others to explore. Of course, you now have that new notification and quick panel style where you pull down from the left to access notifications and from the right to access the quick panel. We've not talked about the display of the Infinix Zero 5G. It is an LCD display, which most might consider a downgrade from the Zero X and X Pro. Even the Infinix 11 got an AMOLED display. This is one of the reasons I don't consider this as a direct upgrade to the Zero X series. However, it is a decent looking LCD display with decent brightness levels, fit for outdoor use as long as it is not under direct sunlight. It is a 6.78 inches tall display with a center hole punch for its selfie camera. I don't think it supports HDR10, but it is great for media consumption. It has 120Hz high refresh rate, which I have to say makes a whole lot of difference when you switch, as it comes set to auto by default. That is switching between 60 and 120 depending on what is running on the device. I'll take 120Hz always, thank you. Now, the 120Hz experience here is pretty smooth, no stutter scrolling through YouTube or Twitter. Of course, sticking to 60Hz or auto will give you better battery life, but I'd say the 5000 mAh battery is quite capable of lasting you at least a whole day on a full charge even with 120Hz. Now, if you do need to charge, its 33 watts fast charger that comes in the box is capable of getting you about 50% charge in about 35 minutes and a full charge in just over an hour. How is gaming on the Infinix Zero 5G, you might wonder? It's a Mediatek chipset after all. Well, it actually does not disappoint. It can play Call of Duty Mobile at high graphics settings and very high frame rates. You can sacrifice graphics for frame rates by selecting max frame rates. That way you get the best gaming experience but at low graphics settings. Pretty impressive if you ask me. I had long gaming sessions with this and so far I had no concerns about heating. For some reason I couldn't run as Fat 9 here. It kept asking me to connect to the internet when I was connected to a fast Wi-Fi network. I had the same problem with Tecno's Power 5G. That's probably an optimization problem from the game devs. For PUBG, same as with Call of Duty, it is able to play at low graphics settings and extreme frame rates. If graphics is more important to you, the Zero 5G can play at HDR and ultra frame rates. I'm terrible at PUBG, so nothing to see here. So far I've not experienced any abnormal heating with the Infinix Zero 5G, but it might be too early to conclude. So with further use maybe we'll see something different, but until then this feels a stable device, aside the ads and bloatware experience though. I'll probably do a video on how to customize the Zero 5G and get the best out of it, so do leave a comment below if you'd like to see that. If I get enough comments requesting it, I'll do the video. The Infinix Zero 5G has a 48 megapixel triple rear camera setup, which includes a 13 megapixel telephoto camera capable of 2x optical zoom and up to 30x digital zoom. The third lens I presume to be an AI lens or at best a 2 megapixel depth sensor. It has a 16MP shooter for its selfie camera. This is another reason I don't see this to be a direct upgrade to the Zero X Pro of last year, as that had a 108 megapixel camera and was able to shoot the moon with a 60x zoom capability. But that does not mean the Infinix Zero 5G is lacking in any way. Its cameras, while not the best in its class, is up to standard when it comes to picture quality as long as you have the right lighting conditions. Its telephoto camera does great at 2x zoom. You can still get decent quality going up to 5x. And if you like to flex it more, you can go all the way up to 30x, but I'd say that's overdoing it since the picture will be grainy, unless of course you want to see what's written on a signpost afar off. Plus, it's a flex I guess, the iPhones can't do that. While the Zero 5G does not have an ultra-wide or macro camera, it does great to capture good detail on close subjects with good background blur. Indoors, you can get decent picture quality if you have the right lighting conditions, and if you like shooting at night, the Zero 5G does not lack in that capacity as long as you enable super night mode. For selfies, it does decent with regular selfies. For portrait selfies, it does great to an extent, but it's a hit or miss sometimes as subject separation is not always perfect, especially when there's not enough light, example indoors, and also it kind of softens the image a bit. Switching to video, the Infinix Zero 5G can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second or 1080p at 60 frames per second from both the selfie and rear cameras. Software stabilization is only available at 1080p 30 frames per second.
Okay, so this is what it looks like filming on the selfie camera of the Infinix Zero 5G 16 megapixel selfie camera. I am indoors, technically outdoors actually. It's a huge glass light source here. So yeah, it's currently shooting at 4K 30 frames per second from the selfie camera.
Okay, so this is a test using the Infinix Zero 5G on TikTok, using TikTok default camera app. Most people are on TikTok these days, so you want to know if your device should be able to give you good quality from the front-facing camera in case you want to go live or create TikTok content. I am currently in front of a softbox with a big light here, so let's go and see from a natural light source what the quality look like. So should you want to use your device for content creation, Infinix Zero 5G looks pretty decent to me. This is a natural light source and the previous one was a softbox. So what do you think? So that was TikTok's default camera with no effects. That is the quality to expect if you've been making TikTok content. Like I said, everyone is making TikTok content these days. Yeah, I'm on TikTok. You should go follow me and see what I do there. So in summary, I'd say the Infinix Zero 5G is a decent device with the specs and performance to show for it. The Dimensity 900 chipset is quite a powerful one. This is a faster device than the Poco M4 Pro 5G. As for its price, I'd say 169,000 is a tricky price point, but hey, let's wait to see if the competition beats this price and offers more. So that's it for the Infinix Zero 5G. Be sure to leave a comment if you have any thoughts or questions about this device. Also, if you found this video helpful, a thumbs up will be appreciated and a sub to the channel will be lovely. Peace out.